Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're making this gorgeous card and it's using a new suite that's in the Occasions catalogue for Stampin' Up. Let's bring that Occasions catalogue in and I'll just show you that suite. It's called Floral Romance. It has a stamp set with matching dies which you can buy in a bundle and save yourself 10%. There is some gorgeous designer series paper which I have shown previously, and I will be showing using a lot of cards and projects with this set. There is beautiful ribbon and embellishments and these seals. Let me just quickly show you those seals because I'll be using those as well. These are really, really pretty. And then there's an embossing folder called Lace Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder, and we're using that on the card today. So let me bring in some of the items that we're using. So we have the wonderful Romance stamp set with the die set. Now the dies, there are 15 in all, so that's both sides here. And the stamp set is an 8-piece stamp set. We're also using the stitched shape framelit dies, so we're using the circles again. The inks we have are Versamark ink because we are embossing this large image here. We're also using Petal Pink, Old Olive and Blackberry Bliss ink. We're using the black embossing powder because I've actually embossed in black and then watercoloured these leaves and flowers in, which gives it a really great, and it's on shimmery white cardstock, so it looks really, really pretty. I don't know how well that probably shows up in the camera, but in life it is absolutely beautiful. So here's the lace embossing folder, and we've also got some artisan pearls on the project as well. So just bringing in my card kit. All the measurements and supplies can be found over on my blog, and that's in the description of this video. There is also a link to my online store in the description where you can purchase all your Stampin' Up supplies through me. And if you are placing an order, please use the Hostess code for the month and I can send you out a free gift. So to get started, what we might do is we might emboss with the black embossing powder this image here onto the shimmery white cardstock. So I have the image here. I'm also going to bring in a mat. And just a bit of scrap paper on top. My black embossing powder here. And the Versamark ink. So because this is a large image stamp, I'm going to ink up straight down onto the stamp. My black embossing powder is super, super fine, so I find you definitely need to use the embossing buddy to try and get rid of any excess static on that piece. So I've just put some of that down. I'm going to stamp down and pushing down onto that shimmery white cardstock. It is a big stamp, so you want to make sure that it's all even and you're going to be embossing the whole stamp, not just part of it. Okay. Let's place the black powder down, and I love how the black embossing powder really defines that image. Beautiful. Bringing the heat gun in, I'm going to turn it on and just let it warm up, and then I'm going to melt that embossing powder. Okay, so that gives it a really defined edges when you're watercolouring, so that just makes it a lot easier. So we have the aqua brush, and I'm just going to colour in these little flowers with the petal pink. We've got Old Olive for the leaves and Blackberry Bliss for these larger flowers here. I'm going to speed the process up so you're not sitting here for 20 minutes while I do this, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've really taken my time with that. I've tried to use lighter colouring with my bigger leaves and then darker colouring using just the same colour, just using more of a wash colour for the lighter colour and more of concentrated colour for the dark little leaves. So I'm going to move on to my petal pink because I want to sort of let that dry before I get too close because I don't want the colours to run together. Making sure that that's clean really well before you try and mix another colour in. And all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of colour. Now because the green is still a little wet, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun just to dry it out before I put my Blackberry Bliss down because those colours will run together with too much water there. Okay, so I've heated this with the heat tool just to dry it out a little bit because we're going to die cut it as well. So let's bring in the card kit. I'm going to put embossing powder everywhere. It's already pre-scored, so I'm just going to fold it and burnish. And our piece of blackberry bliss is just going to go straight down onto the card base. We have a piece of old olive that we're going to use the lace embossing folder with, and then we're going to die cut our circles, stitched circles with this one. So let's bring in the Big Shot. And we'll get all that done now. So starting off with the lace embossing folder. Going to just place that down in there like that. And because it's the thick embossing folder, we're going to place that in, and we're only using one plate. Normally you use two, but with the thick ones it's just the one. So let's place that through. Look at how pretty that is. Great details, you can use either side. I'm going to be cutting, so we'll put it back onto the multi-purpose platform. Let's cut this one out first, so let me get the die out. Just a large one just here. And try and line that up. Because I've put so much time and effort into colouring this in, I'm also going to bring in some washi tape, because my luck on camera view is it always gets moved. Let's stick that down. We'll run that one through. There's a bit of detail there, so I'm just going to run that through a couple of times. My plates need replacing, so it's not hitting in the right areas in some spots. Let's see. Now, because we've used the shimmery white, that gives it not only that little bit of shimmer, but it's great for watercolouring. There's just a few little pop outs there. Isn't that so pretty? So nice and vibrant. Okay, we're going to bring in the stitched circle shapes. And we have our two Whisper White and Petal Pink. The largest one, so the largest stitched circle, and then the second largest in the Whisper White. Let's run that one through. So we've got those two. Okay, so I'm trying something new. I'm trying to put my stuff away each time I've used it, because at the end of the card I've got stuff everywhere and it takes me a while to pack up. So I've just tried to tidy up a little bit. So we have our piece of white circle. I'm going to bring in my mat because I like stamping on my mat. Now I'm going to bring in Blackberry Bliss ink, and we're going to just stamp that sentiment, thinking of you. Let's ink that up. Just going to stamp it sort of over to the edge. I'm going to bring in the petal pink, and we're just going to stamp those little dots all the way around. I'll actually stamp off, I think. Yeah, it's better. There we go. Okay. Glue this one straight down to our petal pink. Just using the Tombow Mono glue, and I'm placing that over towards the edge, so it's not centered in the middle. Get rid of this now, we're not doing any more stamping. So let's place our layers down onto our card. We'll have our Blackberry Bliss straight down to our card base. I'm going to pop this one up onto the Blackberry Bliss. So let's stick some dimensionals down. Centering that. Beautiful. Now this is going to be just glued straight down to that lace emboss piece. Just like that. Now what could have, to make my life easier, I could have placed this down on the adhesive back sheets and then die cut it, and then that way it just pulls off and I can stick it straight down. I didn't do that, but I'll just put some Tombow glue down all around, and I'm going to use our acrylic blocks, stamp blocks, just to try and give that a bit of pressure down to glue it down, keep it down. Okay, I'm going to stick it down like that. Let's bring that block in. I'll just stick that down for a minute. Now there's a couple more things to do. We're going to give it a bit of shimmer with the Wink of Stella, and this Wink of Stella pen, it's a clear one and it gives it a lovely shimmer base. So let's just bring that off. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to add some Wink of Stella to those beautiful Blackberry Bliss flowers. And you might not see that on the camera at all or very well, but oh, they're very pretty. You want to be careful you don't, because if you go outside the lines and onto the white, you are going to see the Blackberry Bliss. Okay. I'm going to clean my Wink of Stella pen, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I'm just going to whack the Wink of Stella pen to put some shine down on my card. Can you pick up those little droplets of shimmer? It looks really, really pretty. Okay, so the last thing is our artisan pearls. Let's bring those ones in. And I'm going to put my card back in. I'm going to put some those down onto the flowers there. So these are actually pink ones, but put in the middle of these flowers, they actually look like they're supposed to be Blackberry Bliss. It's just funny how your mind plays tricks sometimes. Can you see that? Okay, so that's our card for today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would also love to hear any of your comments. Now, all the measurements and supplies can be found over on my blog, and you can find my online store in the description of this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, see you later.